Best friends. You have a test right now? Get out of here. Because if you already accepted at UB, right? So you're good. So this is what you do when you're a senior, already knowing where you're going. So you skip the test to stand with the governor. So we just had a wonderful conversation with these really engaging students here at Williamsville East. And I want to thank the leadership here, the principal and our superintendent, and those who allowed me to do what I've been doing all over the state for the last year and a half as we talk to young people, particularly high school students, about what they've experienced since the pandemic, number one, the isolation, how it turned their lives upside down. And, these were classes that 4 years ago were just starting off, either still in middle school or starting off in high school. And it's had a profound effect on them. And we think about the confluence of that with the fact that there's been a rise in the use of social media, not social media that provides support for students and has connects them to student groups and a lot of positive effects, but how the social media companies have bombarded students with algorithms which are very, very addictive. And it's hard to break away from this. And so we talked about how some of the students have the discipline to, set it aside during the school day. There's just a pull that's constantly there. And it's something that we've been talking about, this epidemic of suffering throughout this particular age group and younger, and especially girls. And the statistics related to the number of girls who've contemplated suicide, self-poisoning among 10 to 12-year-old girls is quadrupled. Hospital admissions is way up. Major depression episodes for 12 to 17-year-olds has increased 52%. Suicide among 12 to 14-year-olds has doubled. So there is a linkage that we're trying to deal with at the state legislative level, because many of us are parents, or we have nieces and nephews, and we're seeing them struggle with this. So last year, I was joined with Attorney General Tish James and Senator Gennardis and Assemblymember Nili Rosick, and a lot of concerned parents and educators who talked about, is there some legislation that we can adopt to make sure that we can address this? And so I wanted to just hear from these students directly about, the positive effects, the negative effects, and what it's doing, and what they'd actually recommend for younger siblings and young people starting out. Would they have the same access and dependency on social media if they could avoid it? So really, really thoughtful conversation. I'm taking those ideas back to our legislature to continue working to pass legislation over the next couple of weeks. There's just a few days left before it's all finished. And so I think we can get these bills passed that'll help complement my efforts to deal with the rise in mental health challenges, $1 billion of investment that we deal with as far as providing support for young people with eating disorders and youth community treatment teams, $10 million to address youth suicide. We opened up 137 more school-based mental health clinics, and a lot of schools like this one do have them already. They have counselors and therapists on site ready to take care of people, but I want to make sure that we have more across the state, so any young person who's dealing with mental health challenges or depression or just anxiety, has someone who can help them literally in their classroom. And that's what I, as a parent and as the governor of the state of New York, is very much focused on. So we want to work on legislation that will also control these addictive algorithms. I don't think also these social media platforms should be able to capture young people's personal information and profit off of it, which is exactly what's going on. So these are some of the issues we're working on and looking forward to getting it over the finish line. So that's what I'll do. Matt?
Yeah, with that, before we take questions, we'll let the students and the faculty return back to their classes.
All right. All right. Great to see everybody. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. All right. Take care. Good luck. Until we have more responsibility with our social media companies, and many of them want to do the right thing. I'll say that right now. They want to do the right thing. There should truly be a national standard, but until such time when Congress, whatever day that may be, I'm not holding my breath, whatever day they would act, then until then, the state of New York is going to step up and lead. So yes, it's a challenge. Yes, there are barriers built around buffering social media companies so they don't have any liability. But parents know there is a direct correlation between these addictive algorithms and the fact that they're being bombarded all night long. These children do not get any rest. Some of them have commented to me saying, you've got to help us. We have to figure this out. One student told me, not here, but another school, said, you've got to save us from ourselves because we don't know how to turn this off. That's by design by these companies who want to take you into an addictive place you cannot break out of it. So it's a challenge, but we're up for it.
Eileen, then Dave.
Governor, I know that was a private session that you held with them, but anything unique takeaways from this Williamsville school, from these Western New York students that will help in that? And
yes, it will. Yes, it will. And again, what I want to point out is that there are students, and some of these were LGBTQ plus students and Asian students who told me that they're looking for a network to connect with other people in their circumstances. And so I'm not talking about the ability to connect with others or to get support services or assistance they need from that networking. I'm talking about the fact that the companies are bombarding them with addictive algorithms, and that's what we're getting at. But no, it was actually very uplifting to listen to these students. These are students who are very candid about the effect that the poll has on them, even during the school day when they know they're supposed to be studying, focusing on what the teacher's talking about. But the challenge is that they feel they're missing out on something, or they have a different life of themselves on social media, and it's hard for them to meet people in real life then, because there's sometimes a contrast between the two, and that adds a lot of stress to the students as well. So for me, just to hear from, in their own words, coming back to Western New York, to a school district I know very well, it was important for me to hear directly from these students, and they're very courageous to open up about their own personal stories in front of other students. I was very impressed with that as well.
I hope you will take off topics, but I'm staying on topic for a moment. I was going to ask you when you thought the mental health crisis began, but it seems like you trace it back to COVID. And if that's the case, Madam Governor, how accountable should the state be? It was the policies of your administration and the one before it that created the isolationism. You closed the schools, you canceled the sports, you kept kids in their home looking at computers where they became addicted, perhaps. How much of this is on the state and its policies?
I think perhaps intentionally you neglected the fact that I said 2011 this is traced back to. I'm not aware of a COVID.
Intentionally neglected.
Well,
You brought up.
I brought up that
crisis.
exacerbated it,
Yeah.
but there's direct correlation between a rise in all these negative effects I read, and I was referring to the time frame of 2011 to 2018, which is pre-pandemic. So all these effects started when these algorithms, which are so addictive, started to be part of the course of the experience of being on social media, exacerbated by the isolation of the pandemic. But I didn't say cause because I did say 2011. Next question.
How much of the
Harold,
state is
next question.
responsible for this?
No, I
Or
think-
how accountable can the state and its policies be labeled for what's
No.
going on?
You know what I'm really proud is being part of the solution, and that's why we have $1 billion targeted toward mental health. No other state can match how we're addressing this, making sure that schools like this and others have these services available within them. So my view is if we can get help to students now, if they have challenges, we can avoid a whole lifetime of them needing services in the future. So we are very focused on solutions, but this does go back to 2011. I'll repeat that again.
Yep.
Are you talking about controlling algorithms? Because I'm wondering, what does that look like legislating
Yeah.
something that is
Right. We are telling them that they're not allowed to send unsolicited algorithms to students. If a student wants to search a topic, they can, but what you'll find is if you search particular subjects, you look up on TikTok, you put in the word suicide, you will get countless ways to commit suicide bombarded at you, even though you did not ask for that. So this is inspiring accountability among these social media companies, that we're holding them responsible, and we're working with them to find the path. Obviously, they prefer nothing change. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable to us. So we're working with them to figure out how to do this. But part of it has to do with controls related to age, that they need to know the age of the students, the young people that are participating, and that would limit their ability to send those unsolicited messages out to them, or to be gathering their personal information, which is what they're doing, and selling it. Selling personal information gathered by your young teenagers. And so that's deeply disturbing to all of us as parents here.
Right.
Companies like Meta say that a ban or a partial ban of the algorithm lacks foresight, because they say that the algorithm is the best tool that they have to keep some of this material away from teens and children. How do you respond to that?
That's the best way they have to keep drawing people in, so they continue to be able to advertise to them and make a profit off of our children. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about stopping that profit motive that is using our children as pawns and developing a dependency on their platforms because of these addictive algorithms. So there are positive effects of social media. The gathering in networks of other people that have similar circumstances or the same school or similar interests. But the social media companies know how to stop this. They just don't want to.
And then last on topic for Mandy from the students.
Okay.
My name is Lena. I represent the Eastside Youth here at Williamsville East, and I'd like to ask, how will the Safe for Kids Act still combat liars who lie about their age when signing up for social media?
Right. Right. That's a very good question. We're working right now with the legislature on the exact details, but it'll be something more than just putting in your age. All these students admitted to me they know how to avoid the age restrictions by simply changing their date of birth and making it appear that they're 2 years old or 3 years older. So we're on to that. We know that that's going on, and we want this to actually be effective. This is not just a token gesture. We actually want to have meaningful change to take us back to a place where our students are not suffering the way they are right now. And we want them to have, and some of the other students were saying, we want to have the freedom to just socialize in person with others without the fear of that missing out on something that's pulling them deeper in. So that's what we're talking about. So it's going to be more comprehensive than has been done in the past, and we're working with the legislature literally hourly on this right now.
And then time for one off topic, Eileen.
Governor, the city, Buffalo just approved their budget, but they are really warning of a typical financial situation. There is that off control board sitting by the side that was once a hard control board for the city. Are you fearing that we're headed toward another hard control board in the city of Buffalo? And is there anything else the state can do to support the
Right.
city?
No, I will tell you this. The state has been very supportive of the city and watching closely their finances. And we've been supporting the city, particularly our investments in East Buffalo. I'll be back in a few weeks. We'll be talking about the Perry Street projects, the whole transformation of that the state is very engaged in, because I said we have been having to witness this blighted neighborhood for decades. Buffalo received the most AIM funding of $161 million, which is 50% higher than the next municipality. So we have been working very hard to help the city with their finances. And we also did an increase overall, and Buffalo is one of 4 cities eligible for the maximum of $5 million more. So we're cognizant of the importance of the city, but I'm aware they're taking steps to change the tax rates and working with the city council on that. So let us wait and see how that bears out, in addition to this support that we gave to the city before we have any further conversations about softer, hard control boards. So.
Ma'am, if you refer to President Trump as a ringleader and his supporters as clowns,
No, I said
how does that improve the discourse? And aren't you a governor for all New Yorkers?
Yeah, I am.
Those who support former President Trump.
No, I think I said he brought his clowns with him. I was referring to people like George Santos and Giuliani. I did not say the
Not
people.
New Yorkers,
I did
not
not say that.
supporters.
No. People
Take it out
in
of
our
context.
state. People in our state can support whoever they want for president. I was just referring to him, how he brings this cadre of people like a George Santos who follow him. But no, everybody is certainly welcome to support whoever they want in the state of New York. Thank you, everybody.
Everyone.
Are you
Thank
moving to New
Thank
York
you.
City?
Thank you.
Have you moved to New York City?
We'll have Anaya with the students.
Great.
Okay, do you mind, is everyone good?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Just starting off saying, spelling your first and last name for us.
My name is Anaya Ramadan, spelled Aniyah, and my last name is Ramadan, as in the holiday.
Just say your name again for
Anaya Ramadan, and I'm a senior at Williamsville East High School.
Anaya, what have you experienced on social media throughout your time growing up?
I've experienced a couple of things through my time of social media. It has helped me with things now as going off to college next year, with connecting with roommates and friends and family activities, things like that. It has also helped me connect with different people in the same interests as me, as making friends, but it also has given me some negative impacts sometimes. For example, I have to, like my Instagram, I have to disable it sometimes or delete it, because sometimes it can be a lot for me. It can be a lot going on just Instagram as itself, and following a lot of people at the same time can be a lot and overwhelming.
I'm curious as to,
Yeah.
it seems like you kind of got a handle on it. You sort of told yourself, I need to step back.
Yep.
That's something the governor mentioned. What percentage of your peers, though, do you think are as disciplined as you or not?
Discipline as me, I would say probably about like 5%. I know there are a lot of, actually we just had a couple students that also know when to take a break and when to step back. And then there are a lot of people who aren't like me and who don't know when to step back, and they just continue to go with social media, and it tends to affect them in the end.
Let me ask you this one. Would you say a large majority of high schoolers here are addicted to social media? And if that's too strong of a word, I could use another, but.
Yes, please.
Well, okay, can't pull away, find themselves like, they can't put the damn phone down. What percentage of kids do you think that represents? Half of them, most of them, what?
I would say a little bit more than half, based on just them as a person though, like in general as like what they find or what they need to use the internet for or uses for. A lot of it is with younger classmen though, because social media has rise so much, and even technology itself has rise so much that as people get older, they're introduced to it.
How much credit do you give your parents maybe telling you as they gave you a phone for the first time or let you get on that Instagram and all that stuff, with sort of telling you, hey, remember, this is something it's not your whole life. Because it seems like you've been able to manage this, navigate this where a lot of kids can't. How much credit do you give your parents for that?
I give my parents full credit for it because they constantly remind me every single day during car rides or taking me to school, taking me to practice, that they didn't have it growing up. So they tell me, like, this is just, you know, like, this is the downfalls of social media. These are the uplifting things about social media, but it's all about who you want to be and, like, what you want to do with that. But just make sure that when you use it, that you're using it in the correct way.
Can you talk a little bit about that feeling of your mental health when you said, you know, on Instagram you have to pull away, it's too much. Describe for us, what is it causing for you when it comes to your own mental health?
A lot, because on social media you see a lot of trends. There are a lot of trends. There are a lot of things that it's like social media is like follow the leader. One person does it, and then another person continues, and then it continues, and it gets worldwide. But for me, based on my mental health issue, it affects me because it makes me. I start to judge myself a little bit. I start to feel a little bit insecure about the things that I don't have that other people may have, or things that they might be able to do that I can't do, like right now, or given their circumstances of like what I do or me as a person. So that's, yeah.
It's almost when you're
Sorry.
a bunch of people all at once.
Yeah.
Kind of
It's a
hard
lot.
not to compare yourself
Yeah.
to others, you know?
Yeah.
I assume that you're 18 or going to be 18 soon, is that right?
Yes.
So this law won't really apply to you, but say it was in effect when you were 16 years old. Essentially, it's going to make you have parental consent to get the algorithm. Otherwise, it's going to be a chronological timeline on social media. If that was the case when you were 16, would you ask your parents for the parental consent because you wanted the algorithm?
Yes.
Or would you just go with the chronological timeline?
I would ask for the consent. Because if I know that I can't do it on my own, then obviously, like, I feel as though me as a person that I have to do what I need to do in order to get that permission from my parents. So, and it also, without having that permission, I won't be able to use it how I can use it now. So I will want to use it. I will be more eager to want to use it because I am told that I can't use it unless I have permission.
So you like the algorithm? You prefer the algorithm to a chronological timeline?
Yes.
What about your parents? Do you think, would they, even if you asked them, would they say, no, we're giving you we don't like the algorithm, we're giving you the chronological timeline?
Are you asking me how would I feel about it?
Do you think your parents would say, even though you asked them to give you consent, they'd say, no, we don't like it, we want the chronological?
Depending on probably what am I asking for. I mean, I don't have a definite set answer for that one because I can be asking for it for so many things. I don't know. It could be for research, for school. It can be for I need to do something for them to help them out, or it can just be for my personal use.
Well, what do you do? And this is a question maybe that might help other students and people of your peers. What do you do when you make a decision to pull away? What else do you do? Do you go outside and listen to birds? Do you write a poem? Do you listen to music? It's that sort of question. What do you do when you decide to pull away? What else do you do?
Usually I pull away from social media when things get rough for me, when things start to become overwhelming for me. So recently I just had to disable it a couple months back because I had a lot of assignments to do and a lot of things to do, but also in that time with not having social media, I also learned to just enjoy myself. I learned more about myself, about who I want to like surround myself with. I learned about what things I like to do mostly with myself, like by myself. I think I want to say I just took time for myself, basically, to understand myself, what I need for myself, what I can do to help myself, or just even things like, I don't know, I'd walk my dog a couple more times down the street, go outside a little bit, do my homework on the porch, things like that.
How do you think the conversation with Governor Hochul went today?
I think it went really great, actually. I was nervous, but it went well. It went really good.
Were a lot of the things that you guys spoke about, was she receptive to hearing and taking back to Albany, do you believe?
Yes, she gave a lot of inputs into everything that we have said and her thoughts about it. And I do think that the things that we said today, I do think they kind of made her think a little bit about what to do next and how to move on from there. So I do think she's going to take what we said today and back to Albany.
Have you talked about stuff like this with your fellow students before this meeting and this came up?
No.
Thank you, Annette.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Of course.
I missed the chronological order.